My name is Ethan, and for most of my life, I truly believed I understood what it meant to be a husband. I thought marriage was made of steady routines, shared meals, quiet talks, and the comfort of knowing the person beside you was moving through life with you, step for step. Sarah, my wife, used to tell me she loved how safe I made everything feel. I took it as praise. I didn't realize it was a warning sign I had ignored until it was far too late. That Thursday evening began like dozens before it. Work had drained me in that deep, dull way where even sitting upright feels like too much effort. I reheated leftovers, sank into the couch, and was just starting to unwind when my phone buzzed. I expected something ordinary. A reminder to lock the back door, maybe a request to switch the laundry, the kinds of messages she usually sent when she was out. But instead her text read, "Ethan, I'm at a girls' night out. Don't wait up." No smiley face, no softness, just a cold notice. Like I was a building concierge being notified of her plans. I tried to brush it off. Lately she'd been distant. Yes, dressing up more, working late, leaving early, but I kept finding excuses for everything. She's overwhelmed. She needs a break. I'm imagining problems. Good men tend to hope for the best, right up until the truth arrives with the precision of a blade. Something inside me cracked in a quiet, tired way. Before I even realized what I was doing, I typed back, "I hope you and he are having fun." I expected no reply, maybe a clipped message, maybe an argument later. What I didn't expect was the sound of hurried footsteps on the porch less than 10 minutes later. When I opened the front door, Sarah stood there panting. Her hair was perfectly styled, her makeup flawless, her dress far too elegant for a casual hangout. She looked like someone whose secret had been spoken aloud. Someone who had run home because panic beat her back faster than reason. "Ethan," she said, her voice trembling. "Why would you say that? What did you mean?" I leaned against the doorframe, my expression blank. "You tell me." Fear flickered across her face. Her hands shook slightly. If guilt were a person, it would have looked exactly like her in that moment. Red lipstick, perfume I hadn't smelled on her in months, and eyes wide with dread. "I swear it's just the girls," she rushed out. "We went to a wine bar. I can call them, all of them. We can FaceTime right now." "Go ahead," I said calmly. "Call them." Her breath stuttered and she didn't move. Everything I'd been avoiding seeing for months suddenly aligned into one undeniable picture. The late nights, the new wardrobe, her fixation on her phone, the emotional distance, the slight jump every time I walked into a room unexpectedly. I had trusted her so much I'd forgotten trust can go blind. She followed me inside like a student awaiting a failing grade. "Ethan, please," she whispered. "You're scaring me." "Funny," I said. "I thought I should be the one afraid." Her eyes instantly filled with tears. Sarah wasn't someone who cried during arguments. She was usually composed, sharp, always able to twist a disagreement neatly in her favor. But this wasn't a fight she'd anticipated. "Are you accusing me of something?" she asked shakily. "I didn't accuse you," I replied. "I simply asked a question. Your reaction answered it." She sank onto the couch, covering her face. Not in grief but in calculation. I knew the difference. "I swear," she murmured. "There's no one else." "Then why," I asked quietly, "did you come home so fast?" She froze. "Because you don't suddenly rush home from a girls' night, unless the truth is chasing you harder than your excuses can run." She lifted her head with a look I'd never seen. Fear, guilt, and something like regret, or maybe just regret that I'd caught up to her. "Ethan, please tell me what you think you know," she said. I didn't answer. The truth was I didn't know anything for sure, but she did. And sometimes that's all the evidence you need. The panic in someone's voice when they believe you've already found everything. The silence between us grew heavy, almost like another presence in the room, listening to every breath. She kept brushing at eyes that weren't actually crying and glanced at her phone on the table like it was a bomb she hoped I wouldn't touch. "How long?" I finally asked. "Have you felt the need to hide things from me?" "I'm not hiding anything," she said, her throat tightening. "Then unlock your phone." She didn't gasp or shout. She just gave the smallest involuntary flinch. Half a second of pure honesty she couldn't hide. "Ethan," she whispered. "That's not fair." Fair. An interesting word from someone who ran home like her conscience was dragging her by the wrist. I spoke barely above a whisper. What feels unfair is being edged out of my own marriage and then being told I'm imagining it. She looked away. For months I had doubted myself, my instincts, my judgment, even my sanity. It was unsettling how easily uncertainty could creep into someone who used to feel so sure of themselves. I thought loving someone meant giving them the benefit of the doubt. Sarah seemed to think it meant giving her room to lie without question. "Who are you with tonight?" I asked evenly. For a second she almost answered. I saw the truth gather in her eyes like a storm about to break. Then she blinked, and the defenses snapped back into place. "I told you," she murmured. "The girls. You also told me not to wait up. You've never said that before when we planned to stay out late. You got home in 10 minutes. She flinched. "Your message scared me." I nodded slowly. "Right. Because I supposedly read too much into it." She started to speak, then shut her mouth again. She looked trapped, lost inside the lie she'd layered over time. I sat across from her. Not close enough to offer comfort, just close enough to show I wasn't angry. Just awake now. "Sarah," I said softly. "I don't want excuses. I want the truth." She lifted her head, and something subtle shifted in her expression. Not guilt, not fear, something more delicate, almost like surrender. "You've been distant too," she said in a small voice. "You've been tired, distracted. You barely look at me some days. I thought maybe you weren't happy anymore." Normally, I would have braced for manipulation, but her trembling voice wasn't manipulating. Not this time. She was admitting something, but not what I had expected. "Are you saying this is my fault?" I asked quietly. "No," she whispered, shaking her head. "I'm saying we both let things slip, and I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know how to talk to you without making it worse." Vulnerability was never her strong suit. She always hid her real feelings behind sarcasm or distance. Seeing her small and uncertain threw me off balance. "So you turned to someone else?" I asked. She recoiled again. That was all the confirmation I needed. She didn't admit it, but she didn't deny it either. Some truths speak loudest in silence. I leaned back, letting the weight of it all settle. Months, maybe a year of small, strange moments suddenly made sense. The late nights, the new outfits, the sudden love of taking walks. The smile that looked like it was meant for someone else long before she walked through our door. "Who is he?" I asked. She closed her eyes, her voice barely a breath. "It isn't anything serious." I let out a quiet laugh, not amused, just stunned. "That's supposed to help?" "No, she broke off, exhaled shakily, wiped her cheek. "I just didn't want to lie anymore." "And still," I said, "you are." She looked at me, really looked, and something inside her cracked. Not because she'd been caught, but because she finally understood something she hadn't expected. She wasn't getting the version of me who begged or yelled. She was getting the version who walked away without raising his voice. "Ethan," she whispered, "I don't want to lose you." "You already did," I said gently. "You just didn't notice when it happened." The air in the room felt colder then, or maybe the cold was inside me. A quiet door closing for good. "I don't hate you," I said. "But I'm done being an afterthought in the life I helped build." Tears slid down her face. "Please, please don't leave." "I'm not leaving," I replied. "I'm letting go." She made a small broken sound. "Can we try? Can't we fix this? I'll end it. I'll do whatever it takes." "Sarah," I said, soft but firm, "you ran home in 10 minutes because you thought I already knew. If that doesn't tell you where we are, nothing will." She buried her face in her hands, not calculating now, just collapsing. I stood up. A strange calm washed over me. Not satisfaction, not spite, but clarity. The kind that comes when you finally accept that something has been falling apart far longer than you admitted. As I stepped toward the hallway, she called after me, her voice trembling. "Where are you going?" "To sleep," I said. "Alone." And for the first time in what felt like ages, the weight on my chest finally lifted.